Hello and welcome to another episode of the Meaningful Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Chantal Gerardy, and today I'm here with the lovely Kimberley Priest from Revived. Revived helps businesses improve their sales conversions. So today is going to be a juicy conversation. Thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. So excited.
So we actually met really weirdly, and it's a good story to tell because I think it's the
Yes.
importance of community, and it also shows how values naturally bring the right people together.
So true.
So true. So Kimberley was in a Facebook group, and we're in this Facebook community group for breath work that we both do. And Kimberley was looking for somebody to help co-facilitate at the Empower Fit experience, of which I'm very good friends with the organizer of that as well. And he's actually just recently done a podcast with me too.
Oh, fantastic.
Mana.
Yes,
Such a
I
small
love
world.
that. Yes, it really is.
Such a small world. So go back and listen to that podcast. I think it's a couple of weeks. Well, it'll be a couple of weeks before this one. And at the Empower Fit experience on the Gold Coast, of which I've helped support Mana, Kimberley was looking for someone to co-facilitate breathwork, and I was like, breathwork community. No, you're my people. I'll come in and help you facilitate. So I got the wonderful opportunity to hold space whilst Kimberley was doing her breathwork, her special breathwork treat, which we'll talk about a bit later. And also got to hear her present and hear her story. And I was like, you know what? I got to have this girl on our podcast.
Yeah. I was so grateful. I just thought it was so generous of you because we at that point had never met, and you just reached out of nowhere and said, I'd like to help. I think I put the shout out in our breathwork community and you reached straight out, and I was just really grateful for that because I know that time's so valuable. It really is. And
It's so valuable. I just figure like sometimes it's just fate, right? You know the right people. You've got the same energy. It's like magic. It's instant magic. It's magnetic. And now look at this. Like we've got this great friendship now. So how awesome is that? So tell us a little bit about your story, because I obviously heard your story because you are a speaker, and I got to hear you speak at this event and not knowing you, just putting my hand up and saying yes to something and then hearing you speak. I was like, whoa, okay. So tell us a little bit about your story.
Well, I think my story surprises a lot of people because I had a childhood that was nice. I had a nice childhood. I had parents that loved me, love me still. And I was good at school, and I think there was just this patch of time in my life where I was so upset with the world. And I made some really poor choices. And from a good girl to then, my home life, my parents breaking up and becoming very, I guess, angry at the world. And I just came up with this decision that no one loves me. And I didn't care. I didn't even care if I lived or died. And so I ended up making some really poor choices because life, I guess for me at that age, at the age of like 16, 17, life just became about just moments of fun. And I guess anyone with teenage kids, you see them all go through this. It's just that I went deep. And so I guess I mixed with the wrong crowds and I made some really poor decisions. And then I ended up falling head over heels in love at the age of, I think I was 18 or 19, with my drug dealer. So that was great. But I think one of the reasons I really fell in love with him is because I met him in this seedy world. I was just so hopelessly desperate to escape my mind all the time. And drugs gave me that. I'm like, wow, I can feel happy. Wow, I can feel good. And I met him in that space, and then he just decided to quit everything. And I was like, wow, this guy's really strong and really amazing. And anyway, we started dating, we fell in love, and then at 20 I got pregnant. And so it was a real shock because I was just in a bad way, and then all of a sudden I had someone else to look after that wasn't me. And I guess the good girl that I was / am underneath just kicked straight in, and I was like, I have someone else to look after now. I cannot be trying to escape my life. I need to create a life that I love. I need to be happy and I need to be successful, because I didn't want the horrific scene I'd created of a life to be the life that my son was raised in. And so we both, my husband and we got married before my son was born, but my husband and I both stopped talking to everyone. We just cut ties. We were just super clean, healthy. We wanted to raise our son in a really beautiful community and space and not have anyone around us that wasn't of sound mind or that was making poor decisions. So we kind of had no friends, because I lost all my friends because I was just a horrendous human being there for a couple of years. And just before I had my son, there'd been this undercover investigation going on, and I think I was like, gosh, I would have been, a month before I had him, would have been 8 months pregnant. And I had this knock on the door, and it was the police. And I was just like, what are you doing here? You know, we're not in that scene. You know, I was so scared, but it turns out they'd had an undercover investigation going on for the last 12 months, and they'd gathered a lot of evidence on my husband. And so it didn't matter. You know, our past caught up. And so they went down to his work, they picked him up, they took him to the station, he admitted everything, and then the next 2 years was spent with it going through court. And the police were actually really nice. Like, they could see that that wasn't our scene, and we'd just been, I guess, a bit further beyond silly teenagers, that you would say. It was a bit further beyond that, but that's what it had been. And so they dropped all the charges. They'd charged him with trafficking and all of this. They dropped all the charges, and so ended up spending another year going through court. But just before his final hearing, some more evidence got submitted from someone who was in our circles before, and the charges were then unable to be dropped. So all the charges got put back up to trafficking, and there's just no way out from that. So at 22 years old with a 2-year-old son, my husband got put in jail. And so I was there just having to deal with this, a single mum. And because I'd been so focused on success and so focused on happiness, I guess it was interesting because I was working for a marketing company at the time, and I'd worked my way up, and I ended up being offered a state manager role. So I was in this really weird scenario where I was in a state manager role with no one at work really knowing what was going on at home, leading a team of people, and a 2-year-old. And
wow.
It was hard. It was really hard. But I knew the importance at that time of showing up. I couldn't let it being hard affect my results at work or affect my son's life. So he was kind of talking by then, so we would visit Daddy at work every week. He just thought we were visiting him at work, and everyone wore brown at his work, and there was a lunchroom we all gathered in. And, you know, it was just this whole weird thing where Monday to Friday I'm working hard, no one knows, I'm smiling, showing up, and then coming home looking after my son. And thank goodness my sister, she was 18 at the time, and she was really supportive. She moved in with us and she just supported me so much. And my mum and my dad, everyone was amazing. And so we really made it through that year. And he came out, and, you know, we kind of got back into life. He got promoted at work, and yeah, it was just this whole strange thing. But I just learnt this lesson, I guess, during that time, and that is you can't let what's going on at home affect anything around you. If you're getting paid to provide, if you're employed, for example, or even if you've got your own business, you don't get to let that stuff going on at home affect your results or your team's mental health. And so you have to find ways, and I had to find ways to be okay. And so it put me on this journey of personal development and wanting to be the best version of me because I was just in this state, I guess. I was so stressed. I'm sure you can imagine I mean, we've all gone through that, right? Like you've got stuff going on at home.
Yeah.
We've all had that happen.
Yeah.
And then you've got to show up and act normal.
Yeah. One of those days is today.
Yes, you were saying before. Oh, my gosh.
So I've got an infection going on at the moment, and it's like I've hired a studio. I've got 3 guests showing up. You know, I was telling a special friend this morning that you know, and he was going, "You're such a strong woman. You still get up. You just show up." And I said, "That's what you do. You know, you've just got to show up. You've still got to do it." But it takes a choice. It takes courage and then making a decision. You are the sum of the decisions that you make, you know, and you can't allow it to define you. So I love it. You know, and I mean, I've got a similar story, and my story is I came from South Africa, and you know, we didn't know anyone here, and I had to start a business with 3 daughters under the age of 5, with no money, you know, and not with no support, and so I get it. And you just have to figure it out. You just have to figure it out and make it happen. So, and I went down the personal development journey as well. That's what led me down that journey, was because I have to be able to put that oxygen mask on my face.
Yes.
So
yes, it's so important.
So how do you do that then, right? If you cannot go and blah out to at the workplace, and you can't go blah out to your team members, and you want to, I'm not going to say keep it in. And I actually created a Facebook Live about this a couple of days ago, which will probably be deleted by the time you guys are watching this podcast. But it was on around how some people say that I'm not very open and vulnerable, and sometimes I can be guarded when it comes to social media. And I spoke about my responsibility of actually respecting others that are in my life and also protecting them. So I am careful in what I say. And I do that with love and with respect. And it's the same thing. We shouldn't be going blah to everyone else at the workplace. We also shouldn't be keeping it in. We do have to take care of our own stuff. So how do we do that? So how did you do it?
Well, I guess the personal development journey was a big part of it. I loved learning about how to be the best version of me, because everything you said is so true. Like what you're talking about with, you can't just go out and blur. And it doesn't mean you're holding it in. It means that you're respecting others. And I think that it's really important to know that. We've all had a boss or a leader who has negatively impacted our lives through going you know, we've all got stuff going on. And yeah, I guess I'm a really sensitive person, and I really do have a lot of empathy, and I care about others, and I care about my results. So if I ever had a leader or a manager who did that, I would be so hurt. And we all know it's true. Emotions are contagious. They're literally contagious. If you're around someone angry, you naturally will feel angry. There's a lot of science on this as well. Like they've proven that, you know, if you are, that the cortisol actually leaves the skin of angry people and goes into the skin of those around them. Like that's wild.
That's insane.
It's all to do with our sense of smell and like what we actually have our subconscious going all the time, and we're actually breathing in other people's emotions and analyzing them all the time. And a lot of people don't even know this is happening. And there's
don't hang around those people.
No, my father-in-law actually, he's one of his very close friends, Neil Ashkenazi. I don't know if he'll ever listen to this, but I spoke to him one night because he did his PhD on this phenomenon of your sense of smell being directly related to your emotional intelligence. And what it basically means is you are all the time, if you are, you can breathe in other people's emotions and then feel them yourself. And that's wild. That's wild. So it does mean we have a moral obligation to show up happy, which I find so cool. Like that is so cool. Like we actually have a moral obligation to show up happy. So we actually have a moral obligation to go on yachts. That's my theory. I have a moral obligation to go on yachts. No, we've got a moral obligation to actually put some work into our happiness.
Yes.
Not think of it as selfish, because especially women and mums and leaders, we think, oh, you know, you're so time poor. You know, you're so time poor, and you think the last thing on your list is something that makes you actually happy just for you. But it should be the first.
Yeah.
And so circling back to your question, what do I do and how do I do that? I literally have a daily happiness routine. So I have a set of steps that I follow every day. I now call it revibing because we have a business. I've connected with my business partner over the fact that we both have the same method and we didn't even know. It was wild. we both do the same daily routine and we've both always achieved very high sales conversions. And we do put it down to that a bit. Like your daily happiness, it affects your sales results.
100%.
And it affects everyone around you as well, which from an ethical perspective is probably more important. But from a business perspective, knowing that it affects your results is like, oh, I'm actually working on my happiness for business. Like, it's so good. So I do a daily routine where I do a method called revibing, which is a breathwork method that I've developed. It's very specific. So the revibing method, it's a 5 to 10 minute process of some deep breath work followed by a particular set of steps. And we do these in our workshops so I can show people how quick and easy it is to go from here to here in happiness. It's like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
No one can say they don't have time for that, right?
Yeah, 100%.
You know? So, 5-10 minutes, specific method, and then also movement. But I think, so there's the revibing breath work, there's movement. And I think with movement, it's really important, especially for women as well. And I only do this for like 5 or 10 minutes. Weights and stretching. So cardio is great for endorphins and all that, but who likes cardio? Because certainly not me. So weights, there's a lot of science behind what weights specifically do for your mental health. So 5 or 10 minutes of lifting up some heavy stuff. You don't even have to have a weights set. Doing 5 or 10 minutes, and I believe in functional movement, not necessarily pumping iron at the gym. I would look ridiculous if I went to the gym and did what I do. Because I literally like to just lift heavy things up, hold them up, move slowly with weights, do movements that I'm going to be doing a lot in the future, like carrying really heavy shopping bags as I buy all my fancy things. I need to practice that, you know? So I'll walk around the house with like really, really heavy things and just 5 or 10 minutes of that. Some stretching where I stretch all the way into the air and then reach all the way to the floor. I actually never used to even be able to touch my toes. I can touch my toes now. So exciting. And then the other thing is your space. So your space. And we haven't mentioned this, but I have a background in interior design and sales specifically in the interior design industry. So selling furniture, selling kitchens. Like I'm a kitchen designer. That's my other business. And I often would talk to people about my breath work and my kitchen design. And they're like, that's so unrelated. Wow, that's so different. Oh, you work on people's happiness and then you're a kitchen designer. And I was always baffled because I'm like, that's not unrelated.
I don't know.
You know, like your space, it affects your mind, it affects your energy, it affects how you feel. You think about like the daily frustration of not knowing where things are. Everything has a place and everything in its place. And that does create joy in your life. You know, I just think your space affects your mind. And so I was always baffled people not knowing that that's related. But I guess I'm here to get that message out there, guys. It's related. Your space affects your mind, and then your mind and your energy, it affects your sales results. So your space directly affects your sales results. And so it's a big part of our business as well, is reviving people's space.
Yeah, excellent. Oh, look, so many good. I've like writing notes, going, must talk about that, must talk about that, must talk about that. So firstly, I think a couple of key really good points there, and that is that you create your own happiness and it's your responsibility to create your own happiness for yourself, because that's going to impact the others that are around you. So your team, your staff members, your leads, your sales, it's going to affect everything. So your responsibility is to create your own happiness.
Meaning your responsibility is to go on yachts and have fun.
Yeah. Well, if everyone, for those who follow me on social media, they actually ask me all the time, do you ever work? And I'm like, I actually work very smart. I'm not going to say hard because I do work hard, but I work very smart. So yeah, everyone's like, what, do you actually work? I'm like, yes, I do. But plays such a fundamental part of that for me.
Yes.
So important. Now, I'm going to share with you a story actually. And again, it was a Facebook Live I did recently, which deletes after 30 days on social media. So it won't be around. So I'll tell the story now. I've got a new salesperson in my business and they're amazing. They've got all the knowledge inside and inside of them, they're just not converting. And I was like, they're doing everything right. It's just not happening. And I've got, a social media person who goes out and does my posting and pitching and appointment setting or whatever. And I just noticed there's a block there as well. So I come back from Bali and I'm like, and I have this tendency, it's a limiting self-belief that comes up. It's like when I'm away from business, if I don't work, I don't get paid, right? I don't make money, which is a complete lie because I've actually set my business up to do that.
Yes.
But it's a limiting belief that I know that I get from my mother, right?
like a
Because she
fear.
used to say it all the time.
Yeah.
So I come back from Bali and I'm like, got to make more sales. What is everyone doing? And I'm like ready to go into my team meeting to go like,
Yes.
"Wah," you know, to
Yeah.
my team and where's the sales and where's everything? And I just went in and I was like, do a couple of breath works, reset my energy, clarity comes in, and I'm like, whoa, I'm just going to ask everyone in the team, what is their money story? What is their relationship with their money? What is their money story? How do they see money? And we went around the room and shared with each other. And I've got an Australian, a South African, and a Filipino. It's a completely different cultures, right? Really interesting to see societally, culturally, some of the beliefs, generationally, some of the upbringings, what came into play. And then we asked the question, how do you feel that affects your role? And the stuff that came out, like in their specific role, how it was impacting them was like mind-blowing. And I didn't have to lead them to any decisions. I just had to ask those questions, you know, do a little bit of breath, ask those questions, and they came to the conclusions themselves and found the root of what was going on. And over the last week, I mean, what a weird team meeting to have with your team, right? But how incredibly...
Not for me. I've always done those meetings with my teams. I love it.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not for everyone though. You know, for me, like a marketing agency, you spoke about how is it related. People know I do strategy and then I do soul strategy as well. So for me, it's both. And people
Yes.
go, what is that? What has a marketing agency got to do? What's soul got to do with it? And I'm like, literally, people can smell your desperation
Yes.
through your content on social media. They can smell the desperation for sales and leads, and you are literally blocking them from coming in. Like they can sniff it, they can smell it. So if you don't get the soul element right, and if you don't time block and put systems in place, you can't spend more time with your wife and travel more. Like you have to have these things they do play a part in your business, but it's not for everyone. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to work a lot with purpose-led business owners. I have some though that say to me, I just want the marketing part, thanks, I don't want the other part. And I sneak it in subtly on the side.
Psych, you're getting some breath work.
Yeah, so yeah, so you do
Yes.
notice it. You do notice how it affects your leads, it's your sales, your systems, your marketing. It all impacts it, right?
I think so. I think what you're saying is so true about systems specifically, because I think the blocks that would have come out in that session, what those blocks kind of do to someone in the team is stop them from following the system and stop them from following the process, because they're kind of like, oh, they might not think it works, or they might not think it's going to get the outcome. And until they're going to follow the process or the system exactly and see the evidence of the result, it's really hard to inspire them to follow it. So I think that uncovering those blocks and getting that inspiration for them to go, oh, I'm holding myself back here is so important. I think that's really beautiful that you bring that to your business. Like, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. It's a big part of what we do as well. It's
sure.
your state. You know, your state, it affects everything, because no one wants to buy from someone who's not in a good state. You can smell it, exactly what you said. You can feel it. And when you come from a really wholesome place of like service and just wanting to help others, people can feel that too. You know, and like letting go of that outcome and just follow the system. You don't need to worry about the conversion. Forget it, because the conversion just comes in.
100%.
You know, if you're sitting in front of a warm, qualified lead and you're not converting between 60 and 70%, you've got to look in the mirror. I think also look at the qualification process as well. Just another thing that's popping into my mind is it's a really interesting thing, because I think a lot of businesses see sales and marketing as like the same thing, and it's so different. Like, although I started out in marketing, I'm not a marketing expert. I have people that help with that, but I know sales so well. And I think sales is so different, because for sales, you're actually relying on the marketing.
100%.
You know, that's the first thing to get eyes on the business and eyes on the thing. And then you've then got it in front of the salesperson, and the salesperson's job is to turn that into an order. I think marketing can still get sales though.
Yeah.
You can sell sort of lower ticket things just through really good marketing.
It drives me nuts, like when I work in companies where the marketing and the sales team are completely disconnected, that they never have time together. No one understands each other's roles. We see it all the time. So for us, we encourage working bees, and in those working bees, we want the sales and the marketing team on a regular basis to be meeting and discussing about what happens, like why aren't things converting? What is happening in the qualification process? What is the content that's actually going out to make sure that they're actually they're across each of the spaces and can start to identify the gaps.
Yes. I think a big part of though as well, there's the qualification process in a way. I think at the end of the day, though, the responsibility, I mean, this might be a bit controversial, but I think the responsibility lies on the salesperson to really get the deal over the line, especially if it's a higher ticket thing. You know, if you're selling something that's worth, say, between $20,000 and $50,000, that salesperson has the responsibility. It's very rare that any good marketing system is going to sell something of that value.
Yeah.
That salesperson has to be good.
Yeah.
And they have to follow a process. And I think the marketing, yes, it has to be good. The qualification has to be good. But I think, the responsibility you look at where the system might be broken, like maybe if you can analyze the qualification process and see a gap there. But the responsibility of the deal comes down to the salesperson, I think, at the end of the day. And I think also the person leading that salesperson and ensuring the sales process is followed. Growing up, was a total nerd. Like I was really into maths. And I think the reason I love maths is because maths is so certain. You know, it's like formulas and everything. You know, I was always like straight A's in maths, and I got ducks in maths in high school. Wasn't a very big school, so it was not that much of an achievement. But I think it just shows my obsession with it. I could get so hyper focused on formulas, and I think it's because it was so black and white. It was like, do this equals this.
Yep.
And I had this mentor years and years ago who, he's just gonna love that I mention him here. His name is Jonathan Brown. He's one of the most incredible salespeople I've ever met. And I met him, I think, maybe like 10 years ago. He's now a very close friend of mine. And I met him, I was selling kitchens. I still do that now. I've got my own business doing that now. But 10 years ago, I'm selling kitchens, and he's come into the business in a senior leadership role. And I spoke to him for 5 minutes. And I got so much value out of what he said. I went straight up to the state manager of the business at the time. And I said, I want to work with him. I don't care how. I want to work with him. And what he said, which really got me because it was like mathematical formula, he had this formula for sales, and it was desire plus empathy plus reason to buy now equals a sale. I may have left part of that formula out, actually. I don't think I did. Anyway, but I think it's so true. You've got the desire, which is done by the marketing team. The desire, you know, they've got the eyes on the business. The person has the desire. They have their eyes on the business. Then the empathy part comes in a little bit through marketing, but it really has to be expanded on by the salesperson. And what the empathy part means is that you see the problems in that person's life. No one wants to know that.
People go into the deliverables. They go into the deliverables.
Yes, I was buying a mop the other day, and I did that. It was like I was trying to buy a mop.
Yeah.
And I've gone in, and the guy is just, there's like 30 different mops there, these electronic vacuum mop things. And he didn't ask me any questions.
Yep.
And he's showing me all these mops and the different things that they do.
Yep.
And I don't care. Just sell me one. I just want one, and I want the one that suits my needs.
Ask me questions.
Solve
my problem.
And so the empathy part comes in. Like, you ask the questions of your client, and the empathy part is that you understand their pain.
Yeah.
You know, like my floors just aren't clean to the edge. So, you know, you understand the pain. I'm time poor. I want a mop that's like dries itself.
Yeah.
It's quick to use. Don't show me all these other things. Anyway, so empathy is like understanding their pain and like that you see it and that you have the solution. And then I think the other part of the formula of reason to buy now is really important, because people can get stuck in decision fatigue. And this is why businesses have sales. Like, not sales department, I mean sales as in 50% off. They have sales because people do need that reason to buy now. It's like a little incentive to buy now. It's creating a win-win agreement, which I'm all about. I do not like dirty sales.
Yeah, my gosh.
Pushy, dirty sales, no thank you. And I'm going into people's homes and I'm selling, $30,000, $50,000 kitchens in one sitting. And the method in the past that has been kind of high pressure, but really, I think when you're selling something of that level, the service you give, it has to be so much that it's a no-brainer that at the end you've got a win-win that, look, you're going to get a better price if we do all this in one session because I don't have to come back and see you again.
Yeah.
We sign the paperwork, we do a deposit. To me, that's not high pressure. That's a win-win agreement. It's a benefit for me because it's saving me time, and I pass the benefit to you of a saving money. Reason to buy now. And at the end of the day, it's their choice whether to buy now or not. They can stop and think and they don't have to buy now. But there is that, that little special thing. Just like when you're going shopping and there's a shirt that you love that's half price. That's a reason to buy it now and not come back in 2 weeks.
Yeah. And they're always on sale.
Sales always come back.
There's
but
always a sale. Yeah.
It's so true because people need that.
Awesome. So let's talk about some of because we've spoken a lot about sales, but let's talk about marketing. What are some of your marketing methods that you're a big fan of?
I really like service as a marketing tool. I think
you're not selling, you're serving.
That's right. And I think even in a product-based business, from a marketing perspective, sell the service first. Sell the service first before you're asking for the sale. And I think the marketing side of it needs to be really serving your clients. All the biggest, most successful companies in the world, they do have a really good service they offer. They're enriching the lives of the people that have their eyes on them, I believe. The best ones anyway.
Yeah.
So I think having it from a place of that it's meaningful to the person,
So that's a desirable offer. What we're talking about is creating something that's desirable. Desirable for you as a person, meaning you love to actually deliver on that.
Yes.
And you enjoy delivering on it. But also it's desirable by the other person, which means they'll be happy to pay for that because it actually solves their problem.
That's right. That's right. And actually the piece of the formula that I left out before, which I knew I was forgetting a bit, that's hilarious. Let's go on a podcast and say it wrong. Anyway, so the piece that's missing is means to pay.
Yeah.
That's part of the form. They have to have a means to pay to take the item or the service, whatever it is. Yeah.
You have no idea how much it grates me when people are marketing and they don't have a way to take payment. I have had people like a tattooist who was like, I'm just going to, when they've got to pay up front before they come to me to get the booking and I'll just give them my bank details and they must transfer the money. And I'm like,
yeah.
I
laugh.
I don't understand why I'm not getting people converting, why I'm not getting bookings. And I'm like, because your booking process sucks. It's not functional for the other person. It's not trustworthy. It's not professional. You've got no T's and C's. You've got no cancellation policy. It's got to be logical. Logically, does it feel right?
Yes.
To hand your money over into somebody's bank account of a tattoo artist you possibly don't know or had a tattoo with previously.
Oh, that is so true.
To come into the store. It's just not logical.
Yes. Yes. You need to be able to if someone feels safe giving you their money.
Yeah.
But also, I guess the means to pay I was speaking of though is the one where the client actually has the money.
Oh,
so,
yes.
I mean,
Or
but
qualifying.
offering payment plans and things like that as well. But offering easy ways to pay for sure because you don't want to feel like, say you do have the means to pay and you do have the money there. If you're just transferring it to someone's bank account you've never met, that's horrendous.
Oh, and there's lots of people doing it.
No.
100%.
I guess I've worked with really big businesses in the past turning over, millions of dollars a year. I've looked after showrooms turning over millions of dollars a year. I've never come across that. But I guess that's like, it's a really funny thing because people go into business and so many of them don't realize how many parts there are to building the business. You've got marketing and sales, which are, as we spoke about before, two totally different things. But you've got all the legal side of it, all the contracts, all of that. You've got, so much that goes into it that's not actually delivery of the thing. Mm-hmm. It's amazing tattoo artists. It doesn't matter how good you are. if you don't have all your back end stuff set up, which takes either time or money,
Yeah.
both. It takes time and money.
But if you want to be a professional business and if you want to make money, you have to do these things, right? There's certain things that you've got to do. And
boring things.
I know they are boring things and they're things I don't like to do, trust me. But you only do them once and then usually you review them once a year, right?
Yes.
But for me, like we do this free, I do this free discovery call and it's like, I'll identify your marketing gaps for you and I go over the 6 key areas of marketing and then the 6 key areas of creating a soul-satisfying business. So I've got my 2 sixes. And I'll go through and I'll identify all the gaps in that. And you can walk away and you can then go and take that and go and do it. But what amazes me is when people come in and they just off the 6 figures or they just off the 7 figures or they just off the 8 figures. That's generally the people that I work with. Obviously, I've got different suitable, desirable offers for all 3 of those parameters. But it's funny how that when they get to that level, it's like they have a decision to make. It's either you stay where you are and Groundhog Day, you keep living in the dirt and the mess, or alternatively, it's time to go, I need to invest in this to do the next jump, to get to the next stage.
That's right. It's almost like the first chunk of their business was just testing the market. It's like, okay, you know there's a market, you know you're delivering a good outcome now, you know that, let's get real.
Yeah.
You need the things, you know.
Yeah.
You need the things.
And then they look at me and they go, no, but I don't need to invest in that software. And no, I don't need to get, a marketing person. I don't need to have a Google My Business account, even though I'm a location-based business. It's like, okay, you tell me that.
Yes. Do you want to grow or stay the same? And I think that's at the end of the day, that's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're either growing or dying.
Yeah.
And that's the same for business and life. Your business is either growing or dying, because at the end of the day, if it's stagnating and if it's bringing in the same amount every year, if it's that's actually a dying business. No one wants to invest in that. No one wants that. You could be happy with that, but the only way, if you don't set up these systems and save yourself this time or set up a team, is that you will just go backwards, because if you're bringing in the same amount of money, there's only ever one of you. You're going to want to retire eventually. You want to retire, you have to put someone on. And if you put someone on, you're going to need to bring in more business, because you need to not just pay that person, but keep paying yourself. So I think it's a whole thing that's really interesting for people. And I think a lot of people as well start businesses thinking they're going to have all this freedom. It's going to be so easy because they're so good at delivering the thing.
Yeah.
Like that tattoo artist maybe is so good and gets all this word of mouth. There's a point where if you want to grow, you have to put systems in place.
Yeah, 100%.
And you're so overwhelmed running your business. You go into it for freedom and you end up just doing hours and hours and hours of work, and then you just get so stressed. There's so many business owners that just want out, right? They're like, I want to sell my business. They can't even sell the business because they're working in the business, 24/7, and they're so stressed. Who wants to buy that? No investor wants to buy that.
I've worked a lot in businesses setting them up for sale, and it's because they don't have any marketing systems in place. The businesses won't buy them because they don't have lead generation systems, they don't have systems, they don't have SOPs.
Yes.
They haven't set up like abandoned carts. They haven't and they're like, oh, but I want to sell. I'm like, no one's going to buy this.
That's right.
You can't sell it for anything.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. And you need to also, before you sell a business, you need to increase the revenue. You've got to increase the sales conversion. You have to have a good sales process in place so that when they bring on a new salesperson, here you go, this is our sales process. Yeah. And, it's very easy. You just follow the steps and you get the outcome. This is the formula. This is what you do. This is the outcome. And I think it is so important. We don't focus as much on marketing. We're the sales. And so but marketing's so important, because that brand refresh also before you sell a business is really important. People need to know that their brand's going to be looked at with a fine-tooth comb. So we also help people that do want to sell, and we help people that want to sell with specifically their sales system and their space, because when you walk in there, it needs to feel fresh, it needs to feel good, it needs to feel inspiring. You need to see the staff are happy to work there, and your state of mind as well. And you're not going to have a good state of mind if you're working 24/7 in your business.
Yeah.
So we really teach business owners to step aside, really trust the processes you put in place, trust the marketing system, trust the sales system you put in place, so that you can actually step aside and just let go, because you can only sell your business. Well, the best way to sell your business is not be working in it. And you go, here you go, my business is for sale. I don't work in it. I work in it 2 hours a week, And
I think, you know what, everything that we've just said right now proves the fact that this whole soul stuff and this whole mindset stuff is so paramount, because it just trickles down to every aspect of the business. I know that when I was in Bali recently, this was the first time ever that I completely trusted my team. Completely trusted my team.
How did it go?
They did not bother me for the first week, okay? And I was like this. Oh, for those of you, I'm shaking. I'm like literally tremoring. And I was messaging going, does anyone need me? Do you have questions to ask me? Do you have like anything? They were like, no, we're following the processes. We're following everything. We've got, when you come back, you'll have leads and booked in. We've got and it was the first time ever. And I was like, gratitude. That I have to practice a lot of trust in that week. And also when I came back and I was like, I've only got to work a couple hours a day. I'm feeling like underutilized. And I was like, actually, I now get to do the other parts in the business that I've always wanted to do. So for the first couple of days, I spent way too much time at the gym and the beach and whatever. And then I was like, okay, I can't be doing that.
Yes, you can.
I do spend a lot, but I spend a little bit more than I should. And I was like, no, I should be putting on another webinar. I should actually going and getting another speaking gig. And those are the things that light up my soul. And that's what I get to do now with a team that is fully functioning.
Well, that's what I was talking before with service. Like that's so beautiful because really at the end of the day, then you're giving your expertise to people that need it. And, they might not have access to all that valuable information or the money to, like there's some businesses out there that just, or some salespeople that don't have the money to invest. And so being able to give away your expertise like that is such a beautiful thing. And it makes me so happy to hear that you do that. And it makes me happy to go out and do that as well and teach people that, your happiness affects your results. And I think that going out and doing that and marketing from a place of service first, you've given so much to people before they've even said, take my money. I had a kitchen client the other day and she'd had a price from a builder and he'd done a bit of design work with her and he'd given her a price and I've gone out and worked with her for a few hours and I'm the same. I want to serve, I want to over deliver. And I'm not getting paid for this because if they don't buy the kitchen, I don't get paid. But I still want to over deliver because at the end of the day, I'm giving them all of the expertise I've spent my life learning. And if they see the value in the end of that of paying me to deliver the outcome that they want and solve their problems, then that's great. And if they don't, then that's okay. I've still given everything of my heart and soul.
Yeah.
And this lady actually spent, so I think the builder's price came in at, it was $26,000 for this kitchen. And my price came in at $38,800 and she chose me.
People, I always say this, if you make it about price, your customer will make it about price. Your leads will make it about price. They will be looking at the price. If you are price focused, they will just be considering the price and they will be price comparing. When you talk about the value and you are giving value, they will invest in value. They will invest in customer service. They will invest in connection, I believe.
Absolutely. And I hear I hear so many salespeople go out and they talk about the features of the product.
Yeah.
Like this is
it's deliverables.
Board and this board is all Australian made and these hinges are from here and that's from here. And it's the minute you're doing that in that person's eyes, you're not serving them, you're selling to them.
Yeah.
And that's like no one wants to feel sold to. It's just, especially if you're telling them stuff that it's like, why is that even relevant to me? Like the feature of something is not telling that person how it's going to benefit their life. And so speaking in terms of the outcome and the benefit for that person rather than the features of the product that some clients just don't even care about the features of the product. I mean, I care about, for me, and everyone's different. For me, I care about, is it going to save me time?
Yeah.
I do like to save money. So I do like to buy high ticket things, but I like to buy them at a good price. I like to buy myself nice things. But I think they care about, or I care about how it's going to save me time. Is it good quality? Is important to me. But I know if I'm paying a lot for something, generally speaking, I'm going to get good quality.
Yeah.
So I know that I want it to save me time and money in some ways or improve my life in some way. Like I'm buying a handbag, I want it to have lots of sections. It's going to improve my life because everything's so organized and tidy and easy to find. And so if someone's selling me a handbag, I don't want to know about the stitching.
Yeah.
You know, I want to know about
and
like
the clasp and yeah.
Yes, how I'm going to keep all of my things organized so that it's so quick to grab my phone out.
I love it when they do those little videos now where they show they show a person like putting in the sunglasses, putting in their wallet, putting the phone in, and I'm like, oh yes, oh yes,
I love it. But I think as well, like, I mean, they're for me the benefits that are relevant to me, and a good salesperson would have found all of that out before they told me anything, you know.
Yeah.
And that comes out of everything. I find out from a client, like all the things, all their problems, all the things they need in this space and what's important to them. And then I decide what parts to tell them about, because I don't want to waste their time blabbing on about,
it's things that aren't important to them.
They don't care.
No. They don't care. I just bought a bamboo grazing platter that I was looking at, and I was ready to buy, like
Did it
ready
have
to push. No sections in this bamboo. So the one I actually found, I was obviously targeted in Black Friday sale. What got me was it wasn't
I got
disposable.
so targeted. I spent thousands.
I know,
It's not even, is
really.
it?
I know.
What day is it?
It's not even Black Friday. It's this weekend.
Gosh.
So,
oh, no. I'm in for some trouble.
next weekend. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but already all the sales. I know, already broke. Already overspent. But so this I was ready to buy it. Had a lid. Bamboo, it wasn't disposable, and I was like ready to buy. It's really good price, $34 or something, right? And I went, let me just go look elsewhere. And True's Bob, this other company, when I had a look at it, they spoke about how this one had a clipped lid so the food didn't fall out. And they said it has a handle. It has a handle so you can carry it out to the picnic blankets.
Yes.
And they used that language and they spoke to me like that. Well, I paid triple the price for this one. Triple the price for it.
Triple
the price.
Yep.
After finding it, just because I went, in my camper van, it was low set, so the food didn't jiggle around and would stay in and had sections. So the food doesn't jiggle and fall out. And I went, that's right. But if they just said sections, I would have gone, okay, sections.
Good quality.
Lid, quality.
It will last you for 10 years.
Yeah.
Like it's got such good quality materials. It's built to, I mean, do you care if it's built to last?
But food's not going to fall out.
Exactly, yeah.
Food's not going to fall out. Carry it out to the picnic. Flies are not going to sit on it because it's got a lockable lid.
Yes.
I'm like, 3 times the price, done.
Triple the price. That's so key. And actually, as you were saying that, something really was popping into my mind in regards to sales and marketing again, and the difference between the two. Because what you were just talking about is a product that say, that one might not have been under $100, but around like under $100.
Yeah, just under 100, yeah.
So the interesting thing is when it comes to sales and marketing is that I believe that effective marketing is all you need when you're selling something that's sort of $100 or under. Like you can sell things at a lower price point through marketing where you don't need as much that human-to-human connection. So if you're a product-based business that just needs, that's selling, that your average dollar value per client might be around the $50, $100 mark, all you need is good marketing. That's not me, that's you.
Yeah.
But all you need is good marketing systems, because people from really effective marketing that speaks to the benefits, not the features, really effective marketing gets people to pay their money for those kind of items. But I think when it comes to effective sales and like more items that cost more, say the sale per client is anywhere from, say, I don't know, a few hundred to tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
That's where you need effective marketing to qualify the people coming through, and you need really good sales process and a really good sales person who follows process to lock in those sales.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good one for us to end on. Some valuable tips here today on really mindset in sales and marketing and in your business for yourself, for your teams. A lot there on process as well. It's been an absolute privilege to have you here today. How can people connect with you?
We are launching our new business, Revibed, which we're so excited about, very, very shortly. So you can access our Instagram, which probably, I don't know how many followers I'm going to have by the time this comes. It's going to be very low. Revibed with a B _AU is our Instagram handle. Mine is Kimberley Jane Priest. So if you want to book me, I do love to do speaking, and I love to speak to salespeople people, sales teams, sales leaders, and help people improve their results. And I love doing that. So Kimberley Jane Priest for that. And we run free workshops as well. Our revibing method, we're having fortnightly workshops that you can send your employees to for free or come along to yourself, where we teach our sales method. And my business partner who teaches this method with me is an incredible, incredible salesperson. She's been at the top of everything she's ever done. She sells millions of dollars a year in personal sales and very high conversions. So amazing person to learn from.
Excellent. That's amazing. And of course, we'll have that all in the comments below. So thank you once again for coming. This is another episode of the Meaningful Marketing Podcast. If you haven't already, please make sure that you subscribe and turn on your notifications. You can also jump onto our website and subscribe there too, to have it sent to your emails. That is onlinebusinessmarketing.com.au. And if you haven't already, please rate us on your preferred platform. Thanks so much, Kimberley, for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye.